welcome guys. I just put a few links on the chat window so you can grab those. Same links as you're seeing here. So you can take a picture of this as well. Welcome. This is a continuation of our series we've been doing about preparing high quality data. As probably most of you have been in our previous talks introducing Data Prep Kit. So today I'm not going to do a lot of intro in Data Prep Kit, but we are going to be focusing on specific data curation and cleanup tasks. I'll talk a little bit more on this. So I'm just leaving this up for a second. So if you want to take a note of the URL or take a picture. I also put this one on the chat window, so you can access it there. The session is being recorded, so don't worry if you need to drop off early or if you signed up and you didn't get a chance to join us today live. We will send out the recording. The way to find the recordings are here. By the way, this is part of a AI Alliance Office Hours series we do. Dave talked about this a little. We meet every Thursdays, right? Same time, 9 a.m. Pacific. And this is the link. Again, I'll put this link here on the chat window. You can go here and you can see all our past sessions. Let me show you right here. It will take you here. And if you scroll down a bit, you will see all of our past sessions. And if you click on any of them, you will get access to recording, slides, code, everything. Right. So basically, if you have a link to the Alliance, I'll just put this one here. Yeah. And that is it. I'll make a note of this. Give me 1 second. All right. So with that, let's continue. And also, if you have any questions or suggestions for talks, we'd love to hear from you. So because we want this to be useful to you. All right. So let me jump straight ahead. So we all know Data Prep Kit. So I'll just do like a 10-second intro. It is a toolkit designed to basically help you clean and wrangle your data for any machine learning applications. It is a Python library, very easy to use. It has all these modules built in. I like into like a little Swiss Army knife, right? Just handy. Has all these little tools built in. And we've been doing a series on this for the last few weeks. You can always go back and look at our past recordings to get a little bit more intro. So today I'm going to jump right ahead and introduce a couple of modules that are very useful in cleaning up data. And again, this is also part of our Data Prep Kit series. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw this news. Now the Data Prep Kit and a couple of other projects are donated by IBM to Linux Foundation. This was done like a week ago or so. So now Data Prep Kit and Docling, which we actually use, and an agent framework called BAI, they are donated to Linux Foundation. So now they're owned by Linux Foundation. So which is a good thing. All right, let me keep going. So today I want to talk about very specific cleanups. We are going to talk about how do we detect and clean spam. And also we will talk about, if you have some low quality documents, like if you have some template that only has like some placeholder text, like lorem ipsum, which is very common, right? When you design templates, how to eliminate those. And also how to remove personal information. So let's say you have credit card numbers, social security numbers in your documents. You want to kind of scrap all that out before sending the data to our machine learning models. And also how to remove hate, abuse, profanity speech, right? So we are kind of building on the previous sessions, and we had a lot of interest in these utilities, so that's why we are doing this today. All right, so let's jump right into the code. I'm going to put this up here. The link is the same. So go ahead and take a second and see if you can access the code page and give me a thumbs up if you can. I'll put these links again one more time. Right. So please go ahead and grab the, go to the code page. You can click on the links as well. I just put the links on the chat. Yeah. Take a picture. Yeah. Because I want this to be hands-on demo, and so this way you actually get to see it, and you have working code that you can use it for your own projects. Yeah, very good. Okay, looks like a lot of people are on it. Let me show you how it looks like. Here, if you click on this link, it will take you to the examples directory. Yeah. Scroll down a bit. Um, you can, right? I mean, the getting started section shows you how to set up your own local environment. We'll skip that for now. However, if you're going to be, doing this a lot more, I highly recommend you can set up a local Python environment, right? Instructions are here, just follow them. It's very simple. Create an environment and then doing a pip install, right? As simple as that. And if you scroll down a bit, we are going to focus on a couple of examples here. Number one, I've done them already in the last session, so I'll skip this. We are going to start with 2, 3, and 4 today. Not yet, but I will walk you through it. And as you can see, this code's already out, on GitHub, and we actually made a lot of effort to make sure they run on Colab, so you can run them. Just to be clear, you don't need to have the environment set up right now, but long term, I will highly recommend it. Yeah, it's a good thing to have. Okay. So let me get back here. You have to look at the chat window real quick. So first, let's start with spam detection. And I put this little reminder for myself, start the notebook. Here's why. Because we are going to be setting up, we are going to be running on Colab, and we need to install a few libraries. And what I found is that just the install itself takes like 3-4 minutes. So I wanted us to give us a head start to start the notebook, and then we can go back and keep it and get it going, and then we can come back and do this. So let's do this, right? Because I put a reminder for myself here. The notebook we're going to run, if you guys follow along, right? You guys still have the tab open, I hope. I want you guys to look at example number 2. It's document quality. And the way we are going to run this is simply we are going to open this in Colab. So it's just simply right click. I mean, that's what I do. And then say open a new tab. Yeah. So let's get this code going, because like I said, the install step takes a few minutes and we don't want to just sit there looking at it. I want to maximize our time. So open this. So we are doing number 2, document quality. Open this in Colab. Where's mine? Here we go. So I actually just, I just ran this just to be sure my code is ready. So once the code is open, all you need to do is go runtime and run on. Get this going. Don't worry, we will walk through the code. I'll explain what's going on, but just to save us some time, I want to get the run going. Give me a little thumbs up if your notebook is running. Yeah. Right, again. Yep. So we are going to the code. You guys are, you guys are here. We are doing example number 2. Open Colab, right? And once it's open, very simple. Hit run all. That's it. And let it run. It'll take a few minutes. So the step that takes the longest is is here. You'll probably see this. You're probably running, right? It has to set up the environment and run it. And how long did mine take? It'll take a couple of minutes, right? So that's why we are running it. Okay. So as long as it's running, let's get back to. I'll explain what we are going to be doing. So let's say you are handling, say, emails, or you have a customer support email or customer support ticket system that customer send you email. Most likely, you end up having a lot of spam in your email. Just look at your inbox, right? You'll get plenty of spam. Now we don't need this. So how do we basically eliminate spam from our documents and data sets before we give them to the model? Very easy. We actually have a module for this. It's called document quality. What it does, it scans through the contents of your documents and will flag them as spam or not. It's very easy to use. I'm going to show you how to do this. So this is one, right? So, and this is especially important if we are processing email data, because a lot of emails tend to be spam. And then go here. And also another thing I want to show is on the same plugin can also help you identify placeholder text. So for example, let's say you have some Word documents, somebody created it, They don't really update the document. They just put some placeholders. So it doesn't really have any meaningful data, right? And we don't want this in our data set. So the popular placeholders like lorem ipsum. So if you have a bunch of text, that's just lorem ipsum, and we don't want this, we can eliminate this too. So let me show you how this plugin is going to help you do this. Very easy. Yeah. This is where the document quality plugin comes in. So they measure a lot of metrics of the quality of your document. The one we are going to use, these two, right, whether they contain bad words, that's for spam, and also lorem ipsum ratio. These are the two metrics we are going to look at. But it also has some lot of other metrics. Like for example, does it contain like common English words? Like for example, the and the very commonly occurring words, right? And also this is kind of my favorite, bullet point ratio. so, so it actually measures how many lines starting with bullet points, believe it or not. I haven't found a use case for this just yet, but if you are doing something with bullet points, there you go. You actually do have a metric that tells you how much text is bullet point. I think this can be useful if you're doing like PowerPoint, right? A lot of the slides tend to be bullet points, like the one I have. So you can maybe do something with that. And another cool thing it does, it detects emojis. Maybe if you don't want a document that are too many emojis or symbols, it'll actually give you a number, like a score, how much emoji is being used. And then based on this, you can actually decide to include or exclude the document. Anyway, some of the fun ones, I always love these, right? So, and if you need more, you can look at the documentation. By the way, all the links, if you have a link to the presentation, all the links are here, right? So you just need to follow the link for the presentation. Yeah. So, all right. So we are going to run this. And the same code, again, we are running the doc quality notebook. So let's take a look at this. So hopefully your notebook is running. By the way, after this first step, right, we are installing dependencies. Your notebook will crash. Your notebook kernel will actually terminate, and that's by intention because we need to restart the kernel. So let me explain what's going on in a second. So hopefully this plugin is running. You get an error saying, the session crashed. That's fine. Don't worry about it for now. Yeah, I'll explain how to restart it. So this notebook, doc quality, we are explaining how to detect spam and a placeholder text. So first thing I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out if I'm running on Colab, because if I am, I need to do things a little differently. So if I'm running on Colab, any files I'm using, I need to download. We know that. And this is something we are installing our dependencies. So what happened in the last couple of releases is our dependencies have diverged from Colab, because Colab has their own dependencies and our software has their own dependencies. There's a conflict. So the way we are addressing this right now, we are uniquely creating a new environment. You see this, right? So we are not using the Colab environment. So we are using Colab, but within Colab, we are creating our own mini environment and installing all our dependencies. So this way, there's no conflict. And this was one of the issues in our last session we ran into. Some of you may remember this. If you just did a pip install of our packages, it will conflict with Colab libraries, and the notebook wouldn't run. And this is the common thing in Python, right? Because when you're running on any Python environment, they have their own dependencies. You have your own, right? If unfortunately there's a conflict, things won't work well. But that's fine. This is why the Python environment is created. So what I'm doing right now, I'm creating a unique Python environment just for this notebook. And within this, I'm installing my packages. So no conflict, right? So Colab can have their own environment. We have our own. So, but what has to happen is after we install this, we need to restart the environment. Restart the kernel. So our new environment will be used going forward. And that's why you get a notice saying, yeah, your session has crashed. All they're saying is saying, hey, the kernel actually is no longer running, because we are actually killing the kernel explicitly. The reason I'm doing this, it may seem a little extreme, but the reason I'm doing this is I remember to restart the kernel, right? Because otherwise you will run into all sorts of issues. So here's how we do restart. So you'll see this, this big output. It's all a bunch of things. So that's all fine. So I'm going to, right? There you go, right? Right here, you say saying something restart runtime. Here's how we do it. Go to runtime, and we want us to do restart session. So go ahead and do that, please. So don't run anything yet. I just want us to right now restart the session. So all we are doing is we are reviving the kernel, and this time it's going to use our own libraries, not the Colab libraries. Yeah. So once you have done this, what we are going to do is very simple. Because remember, we already did the install, so we don't have to go back and redo all that. I'm going to go to step 2. You can click on this, like 2.1 section. And this is like a shortcut, and it will save you tons of time. So kind of look at my screen here. I want you to do runtime. I want to say run cell and below, meaning start from here and execute everything below this. Because we don't need to go back and do the install. We've already done this, right? So we don't want to spend time doing it again because everything is set up. So all I'm going to do is like I'm going to say run cell and below, right? So basically make sure to click on this, right? So it'll actually start here and then simply say run cell and below. That's it. Get it going. Yeah. Give me a thumbs up if your code is running after the restart. Let me pause here for a second. Yeah. And if you have any questions, let me look at the questions real quick. Oh yeah, let me put the link for those documents. Oh yeah, okay, looks like a lot of you are running. That's great. Let me also paste the link to these one more time, which was a little late. Yeah. All right, so all we are doing, right, starting from 2.1, we are running 2.1 and what's below, right? So the way you do that is click on this, runtime, very simple, right? On cell and below. That's it. Let it go. It'll happen pretty quickly because the time-consuming part, which is installing dependence, is already done. Yeah. So let me. I'm just pausing here for a few seconds. I want to make sure if you're trying to do this, I want to give you some time to catch up. Yeah. So go ahead and do this, please, and let me look at the questions a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I just put the link on the right. So again, guys, if you're not planning on running this, that's perfectly fine. You can watch my screen. I just want to make sure. I know some of you like to run this hands-on. I just want to make sure you have a chance to do this. Okay. So if you're running this, let me show you what we are doing. So again, I'll start from 2.1, checking the Colab. So again, these are all basically setting up some input-output directory. So I'm saying, read from here. I'm going to do a multi-stage processing, so that's why I'm doing like 1, 2, 3. I'll explain how the output looks like. Now, if you're running on Colab, I'm downloading a bunch of files. So you can see, right, one is a good document, .pdf, and you can look at the data here. You can right-click on this. Right. So if you look at .pdf, just a simple, right, just a one-pager. So it's a good document. And we also have spam.pdf, right? That's only one text, free text. And also I have lorem ipsum PDF, right? So you can look at all the documents here, and we are downloading them in Colab. Okay. So first step I had to do, I had to extract the data from PDF. Extract the text data, and that's very simple. This you may have seen many times in our previous sessions. There's a module here called PDF to Parquet, and all I'm saying is look at this input directory, look at the PDF files, and extract the data. That's it, right? And it'll run it, and it'll basically extract it. And basically, when we display the output, you will see three rows. Remember, we have 3 documents, right? So each document will have an entry. Look at the contents column. That's where the actual text is. And then you have some metadata, like how many pages, how many tables, all that, right? So that's fine. So let's focus on the contents. And if I just print out, so for example, spam.pdf, it only has 1 line. My lorem ipsum has a couple of lines, just fill a text. And my earth.pdf, right, has some regular text. So now we have 2 problematic documents, the spam and the lorem ipsum. How do we eliminate them? And this is where the document quality plugin comes in. Step 5. Yeah. Very simple, right? We have a doc quality plugin, and you can see it's basically a one-liner. I'm saying, hey, look at the data. I'm saying, scan the contents column, right? Remember, the contents is where the text data is, right? The contents column. I want to say go through the contents column and give me a score. So it's going to go through this, all the data we have. It will scan the contents column, and it's going to give you a score. And the score looks like this. So we're going to run this. So 5.1, we are running this, all right? So I can see it's pretty quick, right? So, and then now if you look at the output, let me show you, and you will say, wait, I see the same output. You have to scroll to the right, and then you see the new columns, starting with doc Q. Those are the metrics being calculated for each of your documents. Right? So let's take a look at those. So for example, it says, like mean, like what's the average word length, right? Like how many sentences it has. Oh, there we go. Here's our lorem ipsum. So you say there's one column called lorem ipsum ratio. So it basically calculates how many times it sees the text lorem ipsum. And you can see 0 for 2, but one document tests positive, which is basically, I'm sure, the lorem ipsum, right? So as you can see here, is right away I see the number. So basically, I get a score. And also remember, there's another one we are going to look at, contain bad word. This is for spam. And there's one document evaluates the true, and I'm pretty sure it's spam. See, right? Spam.pdf. There you go, right? So now I have a matrix, and I can, right? We are going to use that to extract, filter out documents. Remember the bullet point I was talking about? I don't know why I'm obsessed with this, but yeah, I am. So this one document actually has a bunch of bullet points. It's the earth.pdf, I think, right? Yeah. Remember, we have some, right? If you look at the earth.pdf, I have some bullet points. And they're calculating how many bullet points per text ratio is. Anyway, so, and you can look at some of the other metrics as well. If you need more, look at the documentation. They will explain what all these metrics mean. But we have the ones we want, right? We want the one with the lorem ipsum, and we are the one with bad words. And from this point on, filtering is very simple. So what I want, remember, I'm, right? I want documents that don't have any bad words. Right? So this is going to eliminate spam. And I also, for the lorem ipsum, I want 0. Like I don't want any mention of lorem ipsum in my documents. And remember, these are just numbers. You can play around with them, right? For example, if you want to tolerate some lorem ipsum ratio, where's that? And it's a number, right? So you can say, oh, maybe I will tolerate like 0.2 or something. In my case, I'm saying, what? Yeah, it needs to be 0. And with that, so we are basically at this point filtering out all the documents that doesn't fit our criteria. And the only document that makes it is Earth. Easy, right? So what's the basic process? Just so we get the basic idea, right? So you have a bunch of documents. First step I'm doing is extracting text data out of the document, right? That's the number one step here. And that's pretty simple. Again, we have a module for this for you to use, and let's write the text. And once the text is extracted, the text is basically stored in the contents column. Then I'm running the doc quality plugin, and I'm asking to scan the content column and then say, all right, give me a score. And after this, it'll basically give you a bunch of numbers, right? For each document, right? Each document, doc quality will actually give you metrics. And then you can use them to filter out or include documents. Very simple. Question so far, guys? Give me a thumbs up if you're able to run this notebook and you ran up to step 7 and it's able to run. Very cool. I love seeing that. Yeah. By the way, if you want to look at the final output, remember we are saving this output. You can click on this little file thingy, right? And you'll see an output, and you see the input here, of course, right? These are ones we downloaded. And if you look at the output, remember output, you'll see like a bunch of directories. The reason is we go multi-stage process. So the first stage, we extract the document, text from documents. The second stage is where we the document metrics. The third stage is where I'm actually outputting the file. So here, only file that made it through my pipeline is Earth, and I'm writing the data out. So you can just open this if you like. Double click open, just a PDF. I mean, just a markdown. Very cool. That's it. So we'll follow the same template in all our notebooks, right? If you have been to our previous session, I do the same thing, right? We have a series of stages when we do outputs. Oh. Questions, comments? Go ahead, guys, if you have any questions. So I was glad to see a lot of people were able to run the notebook. Yeah. Right one. Right. Question about multilingual. That's very important. Let me go back. So the question is, can it handle multilingual documentation? Yes, it can. So see how I'm here specifying the language. So we have language-specific dictionaries of bad words, right? Spam words and things like this, and then it will match them. So yeah, so in this case, I'm saying, hey, use English dictionary. I mean, English, the bad words for English. And then if you go to the right, if you go to the bad word collection, you will see we have. I think we have 4 or 5 languages: English, Spanish, Dutch. Yeah, so you can, and that's that's work in progress. So you can see if your language has the bad word collection. Yeah, yeah. Good question. All right. So that is basically, remember, that is basically removing spam and content, bad kind of low quality content. Next step is personal information. So same thing, right? You can see I put a reminder for myself, start the notebook. So let's do that. So if you are here on the code, the notebook we're going to run is this, right? PII. So same deal, guys, right? Open in Colab, right click, open, and then once it's open, go ahead and run it. So this time you want to remember, when you first open this, you want to run everything, right? So you want to say run all. So it'll actually go through the install process. Same process. You see the code the same, right? You see this. We are installing the environment, creating custom environment. This step takes time, right? So kick it off, right? Say runtime run all. So it'll actually get the install process going, and I will explain. I'll walk you through the notebook in a second. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what is this about? So imagine your documents have PII stands for personally identifiable information. So it could be, let's say you have a document that has credit card numbers, even emails, right? Person's physical address. These are considered PII because they can be used to identify a person. In US, if you're living in US, social security number is right? It's a big deal. So all of these, let's say you have them in the documents, we don't want to feed these into our model. Right? We need to scrub all the information. Sometimes, because you want to do this because there could be legal reasons. You cannot include this in any model. And also, this is ethically a good practice. Right? A lot of the time, you want to respect your customers' privacy. So here's an example. So here you see I have an invoice example. On the left, you see a regular invoice PDF. Right? It has all the person's name, address, email addresses, phone numbers, and everything. I run through the redaction engine, and this is the output it produces. You see that? So the sensitive information is redacted out. We can choose what information to redact. Right? We can say redact all the emails or the addresses or person's names, things like this. Yeah? So it's actually works pretty well. You can see. Now I'm going to show you how we are going to do this in code. The toolkit we use is Microsoft Presidio. It's an open source toolkit we use. And here, let me show you this. Let me actually click on this link. They can detect a large number of sensitive data. So if you click on this link here, right? Again, how did I get here? Click on the entities link. So you can see, right? Credit card details, your crypto wallet number, email addresses. These are all universal, right? And also, if US specific, right? Then you can say, driver's license, your SSN is the social security number, right? In US, every country probably has their own version. In UK, right? Your NHS number, yeah. If you're in India, right? So you can see, right? Country specific, they can support country specific ones. So in India, right? Your passport numbers, right? Your tax numbers, yeah, right? These can be redacted as well. So as you can see, it's pretty versatile. So it's not like US centric. It's depending on the region you live in. You can actually redact information that's relevant to your region. Right? Pretty cool, right? So, and if you ask me why we are using Presidio, and this is something you will see in Data Prep Kit. Whenever there's an open source module that does the work, we leverage it because there's no need to re-implement this, right? There's a lot of really good open source software out there. There's no need to kind of rewrite this. So even the previous one, right? If you remember, we are extracting text from PDF. For that, we actually use a software called Docklink. So Docklink is an open source software. It's open source, but now part of the Linux Foundation. So the data prep, it actually leverages Docklink to extract data. So yeah, so we try to leverage as much as open source as possible. Let me get back to this. All right. So let's run the code. Yeah. So hopefully you are running. I sort of ran this just before this. So basically after this this install step, your kernel probably is crashed. So we know the deal now, right? You're going to go ahead and go to runtime and restart the session. Yeah. And the new session will actually use our own libraries, right? And that's why we are doing this. Yeah. And then I want you guys to basically come to step 2. Click on 2.1 cell right here. And I want you to do run cell and learn. Remember, not run all, because we don't want to go through the install process again. It's done. So we just simply select the cell and then say run cell and below. Please give me a thumbs up if you're able to get this going. I'll give it a second. Yep. Very good. And again, if your install is going, don't worry. You can look at my screen. You have the code. You can always run it on your own time. Yeah. All right. So if you look at the code, you'll see a lot of similarities with the previous notebook because we follow the same pattern. And right, so again, input output is coming from PII. Now, first step, I'm extracting data from the PDF. Remember, right? I have a bunch of PDF. Let me actually show you here. So the invoice data is here. Let me actually show you. All right. I think I'm doing invoice 3. Right. So yeah, it's your typical invoice. You can see, right? It's a PDF with name, address, and everything. And this is what I'm using. So we're going to pass the data out of this and eliminate all the personal information. Okay. So I'll skip the PDF side of things because we have seen this many times. Same thing, right? You say PDF to Parquet, give it input, output, and then say extract the PDF, and that's it. And if you look at the data, there's only one file we are processing, invoice3.pdf, and you can see the text is actually extracted. Pretty good. And also you can see, right? It can figure out because in the invoice data, remember there was a table, right? So it actually figures it out. It says, yeah, I see a table. It's 2 pages. So the extraction is very accurate, actually. And you can print it out. This is like a plain text, right? You can print out, and you can see all the details. And this is right now. We have everything from the invoice. Yeah. Next step. This is the interesting part. Step 5. How we are going to eliminate the personal information. And for this, we already have a module, PII. We are going to use this. By the way, if you're wondering how we're doing this, we also leverage a software called Spacey. So Spacey, has anyone here used Spacey? Yeah, it's like an NLP, really powerful NLP package. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see a few hands. Nice. So one of the things Spacey can do really well is it can detect entities. When I say entity, it's like thing like a person or a place. Like person could be, Steve Jobs, right? A place could be San Francisco, or right, or London, and also it can recognize date and time, right? So it can recognize, those are called entities. So we actually use Spacey to detect entities and then use them to remove them. So things like person, email address, right? These are entities. We use Spacey to do that. Again, same thing about open source, right? If there's an open source tool that can do this, we will leverage it. Yeah. All right. Very simple. One liner basically, right? Okay. What am I doing? I say read data from this input directory, output from here, and I'm asking it to basically redact these entities: person, email address, and phone number. Right? And there are a lot more entities supported. You can see, right? If you click on this, right, you can see all the Microsoft entities, right? Right? The same ones we just looked at, right? Yeah. So all of this, you can specify any of these. Yeah. And in this case, I'm keeping it pretty simple. I'm eliminating these entities. Either you can remove them or replace them. I'm asking to replace, so because in the final text, I want to actually see which entities were replaced. I don't want them to just disappear, right? Because then it'll be disorienting. And I'm asking to put them in a redacted contents column. That's it, right? So let's see this. Let's see our output. There we go. See, I see redacted contents right here. So it's kind of hard to read here. Let me print out. So I'm going to print it out here, redacted contents. What does it look like? There you go. All right, see location is all masked out, right? So pretty good. And that's it. Basically, one line of code, you tell it what to redact, and then done. Yeah. And I'm saving this, right? So I'm saving this. I'm saving this. If you're curious, you can look at this real quick. With the output, look at the markdown, and open this up. All right. There you go. All right. Very cool. So what I'm showing you is using a data prep toolkit. Right? These things can save you a lot of time if this is what you want to actually work on, right? Because if you're especially when you are doing especially internal documents, you may have a lot of personal information, and you want to scrub all that, right? And you don't want to kind of do this on your own, right? Because there are tools to do this and leverage it. Yeah, pretty good. All right, guys, very good. So how were you guys able to see the output yourself? I'd like to see a thumbs up if you're able to run this and kind of see the output on your own. Yeah. It's always nice to see the code running right on your own. Perfect. Good to see. Good to see. Let me look at the time. All right, I'm going to go through the last notebook, and then I'll go back and take the questions. Just so, right, in the interest of time. Very good, guys. Okay, same thing, right? So let's start the notebook. Now you guys know the drill. So the last notebook we are going to look at is HAP, hate, abuse, and profanity. So same deal. Please go open the notebook in Colab, right? And excuse me, once open, go ahead and run all. Right? Just start the run. Right? Run all. Right? So this is the last notebook, HAP. Just kick it up, get it going, right? So we can look at this after the run is complete. Okay, let me explain what this is. So hate speech. So it's generally called HAP, hate, abuse, and profanity. Again, in the documents, we want to remove this because right? Because the reason is, so I mean, here's an example, right? So again, please don't try to read too much into this. I just want to show you some examples, right? So this is abuse, right? So maybe right, and hate. So you can say I absolutely hate all, right? Whatever insert your right group, or you can say profanity. This we understand. So if our documents have these, we want to eliminate them, right? These are low quality documents. We don't really want to train our LLMs or any application with these. The reason is it could be legal, ethical reason, and right. I know it could be liable too, right? You don't want your models to learn this and spit out hate speech. A lot of reasons, but removing this is pretty straightforward. I'll show you how. So there are models called guardian models or guardrail models that can detect hate speech. Here I'm highlighting an IBM model. It's called IBM Granite Guardian, right? And you see that it comes in two variants. By the way, these are open source models, and there are many other models like this as well. So I'm just highlighting these. So this is 38 million is like the number of parameters, 38 million and 125 million. So in the overall scheme of things, this is a pretty small model. Remember, if you look at ChatGPT, they are in billions, right? But the reason the models are kept small is they are very fast. So you don't need a massive hardware to run this. These can run on your laptop. We don't want you to kind of go and build a server farm just to run a model, right? So these models you can download and run them on your laptop very fast. Even the small model, that's what I'm using for my demo. It was pretty good, right? But if you want a little bit more accuracy, you can go to the larger model, the 125 meg parameter model. So it'll take a little longer to run, but it'll give you more accurate results. So when you run your text through these models, basically they give you like a score. It's called HAP score between 0 to 1. So close to 1 meaning, it's very toxic, right? Close to 0 meaning it's clean. So that's the basic idea. And this model is already built in. Let me show you how. Again, right? So let's say, remember I ran my my input. So what you get is like a score. Now, if you look at this, right? So these are triggering very high, right? These are clearly hate speech. Look at this, the third one. So third one says, I hate 12 people. I mean, right? It's kind of hate, but it's not as really strong as this. So it still gets flagged, but like around 36%. And then you can say, I hate this traffic. It's a neutral statement, right? I mean, yeah, even though you see the word hate, which is a pretty strong term, but the context, like, yeah, I hate traffic. Right? I mean, yeah, so it's a, and it says, what this is 0. It's basically neutral. So the model is very smart. So it doesn't just look for keywords, right? They look at the context, and that's very important, right? And you see this when we run this, it's actually does pretty well. And it's an open source model, so you can download and run it. Anyway, right? So, all right. So let's look at our code. So the code we are running is HAP1. So hopefully you're already running this. Again, if your code after the install, what you want to do is let me have, yeah, after the install, right? After the whole done is done, you want to basically step 2, you want to basically restart your session. So same deal, right? Restart the session, and then you want to run, like click here and then say run below, right? Because we don't want to go through the install again. That's done. So we want to run install below. All right. Go ahead and kick it off, please. Let me do this, and I'll walk you through, and then we will go through the questions. Yeah. So the first few sections are pretty common, right? Right. I follow the same template. It's very straightforward. So, right, all that. So first we are downloading a bunch of data, right? HAP 1, 2, 3. So let me look at the data real quick. Right. So HAP 1. By the way, the reason you see MD is I use some Markdown files to create the PDFs, right? Just so this way I can kind of tweak the content. Because sometimes like downloading a PDF with HAP might not be easy. So I just want to give you an example so you can actually see. So that's why you see the Markdown, right? But let's go to the PDF real quick. So how does HAP 1 PDF, right? So this is abuse, right? So, right? So yeah. So again, like I said, I just want to have some concrete example, just so you can see it in action. Right? So please don't read too much into this. Yeah. And then HAP 3. What is HAP 3? Oh, yeah, I had told people. So this is kind of mild hate, right? And then the HAP 4 is, I think, I hate traffic. There you go. Yeah. So all right. So let's see how we do. So these are our notebooks, and these are our data. We are downloading our data here. Extract, PDF extraction, fine. We've seen this a million times now, so I'll skip this. So all I'm doing is extracting data, and then you see, right, I have these files, and the data is in the contents column. Good. So I'm going to printing out a few things just so you can see it, right? So there's HAP 1, right? HAP 2. Yeah. Anyway, you can get the idea, right? So these are the files we are dealing with. Step 5. This is where the important thing happens. Here we are doing IBM Guardian model, but you can use any model. You can plug in any model. Remember, there are a bunch of these models in open source. You can plug them in. So you can go to Hugging Face and find out these Guardian models. So when you plug in a model, it'll actually download and run the model for you. Okay. So one-liner basically. So what am I doing? Input output. Right? Pretty straightforward. Model name you can see. Yeah. And I'm saying, right? Give me a score. I'm scanning. Ask it to scan contents column. Remember, right? Because the contents column is the one that has the text. So I'm asking scan through the contents column and evaluate the HAP. Yeah, that's it. And after it's run, it's running through, let's say, yeah, there we go. So you will see a HAP score at the end, all right? So here we go, here are the scores. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just display just the file name, content, and HAP score, right? So I'm just displaying just these columns because those are the ones that we're interested in. Okay, look at this here. right? So this is like I hate told people. So it's positive but not severe, right? And this is some Earth. Some thing about Earth. It's like pretty much zero, right? That's basically said, yeah, there's no hate abuse here, right? I hate this traffic. Again, it scores pretty low, right? Because this is not very harmful. But look at these texts. They're scoring in 90s, right? So these are highly toxic, and the model rates them as such. And that's it. So now we have a HAP score. Now you guys know what to do, right? So all we are doing is, oops, what am I doing? Yeah. So all I'm doing is I'm basically eliminating. I'm saying, okay, give me all the documents that are HAP score below, and what are the threshold is. All right. So I'm also eliminating the toll people document, right? But it's up to you, right? Remember, at the end of the day, it's a number. You can tweak the dial to to pick the one. And then the only two that makes it is earth.pdf and I hate traffic. Very good. There you go. So now what you've done is, right, we went through a bunch of documents, and for us, right, when you specify a model, you don't even have to download the model, right? It will actually download the model for you and execute it for you. Right? So it's very convenient. Yeah. All right. So that's all the I want to show you. So hopefully you guys are able to run these. And let me look at some of the questions. I know we had a bunch of questions. So let me try to see as many as we can answer. Oh yeah, let me put the links one more time. So if you join us late, here is the links. Okay. So quick show of hands. Were you able to get the HAP working and get like a final HAP score? I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Nice. Love that. Yep. And this is why we do this, right? Because I don't want to show you just a bunch of slides. I do the slides just to illustrate the concept, so you understand what's going on. And then, but we actually want to show you usable code that you can adapt and use on your own. Yep. All right, guys. Very quickly, if I don't get to all the questions, if you need to drop a little early, that's fine. But I'll kind of stay back a little and answer some of the questions. I'll sort of go bottom up, just so I don't miss any questions. The link to notebooks, I just posted them online on the chat, so look at them. And also remember, all of this will be available in our office hours pages, right? So we'll post them in our link, so you can always go back and find them. You'll get an email when the recording is ready. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. So yeah, so HAP scores, remember, right? I mean, remember, so that when you do the models, these models, they are trained on hate speech. So that's what they use to evaluate if this speech is, right, is hate or not, right? And that's why they give you a score. Excuse me, right? They give you a score. They don't say, yes or no, right? Because then that's a very black and white. But they give you a score. The reason the score is given is now you have control over what you want to access, right? What's your tolerance level, right? What's your cutoff point, right? You want like zero hate speech or like below 10%, below 20%. That's up to you. So there's not like a right or wrong answer here. So you can choose a threshold where you want to cut off the documents. Yeah. That's why the score is produced instead of saying this is hate. This is not, right? Because then the model, right? Then honestly, I think if it just gave you a yes or no answer, I think it's taking away a choice. A score is much more flexible. So this way you can choose. Question is, why do we use SPACY? So SPACY does entity detection pretty well. Again, remember, there are other models that can do this as well. Yeah, so I think the developer chose SPACY because it gave pretty decent results. And also, a lot of people are familiar with SPACY. But remember, you don't need to be familiar with SPACY because the data prep kit internally will do this for you, right? So yeah, so the SPACY is what's used for the entity detection. Question from, let me see. Right. Oh, yeah. So remember, right? I mean, and the entity detection is not always 100%, right? Because remember, they sometimes rely on some specific format. Like, for example, a US social security number It's like a, it's like a certain, like a 9-digit, I think, right? So there's a certain format. So yeah, they do rely on some pattern matching to extract this out. So they do work really well, but probably not 100%. So you need to be mindful of this. And sometimes you can plug in your own expression. Like for example, let's say you're a bank and you have some internal data that has certain format. Then what you can do is you can create like a regular expression. That's what they are called, to like basically a pattern, right? And then feed them into the model, and then they can say, oh yeah, whenever I see a text matching this pattern, we will redact it. So, yeah, so all these models are extensible. They actually come with like a lot of these things built in, but you can plug in your own patterns as well. Yeah. All right, let me run through them very quickly. Another question is extracting PDF. What I'm reading is, yeah, so kind of paraphrase this. All of the notebooks, we follow a kind of a pipeline approach, right? So like you start with a bunch of documents. So the first stage is extracting the content. You just want to extract the data from PDF, HTML, whatever documents you have. Once you have the contents extracted, like here, where was this? Yeah. Then we start the process. So the data prep is structured in a way you execute things in a pipeline. So your pipeline can be as as extensive as you want to be, or you can do like intermediate pipelines, up to you. But basically, if you see this, and this is why I want to show you some code. It's like one stage of the pipeline executes, and whatever output it produces becomes the input for the next stage, and so on and so forth. So you can basically chain these stages and create like a complex pipeline. And so in this case, I only have like just 2 stages, right? Basically, I had first stage just to extract the content from PDF, and the next stage is basically running a HAP filter. That's like 2 stages, right? And the third stage, I just save the file, right? So that's just me, but I had 2-stage pipeline. But like in like complex environments, you could have like a 10, 20-stage pipelines, and that's fine. Yeah, it's very, very, very done as a way to be very extensible. Good, guys, very good. Let me see. I know we are slightly over time, so thanks for hanging in. I think I answered most of the questions. If not, we will actually take a note of this and put them on our website. So thank you so much for coming. Hopefully you found this useful. Again, let me put this link here one more time. You can take a picture of this. I also put the link on the chat window. Thank you again. We will hopefully see you in the next session. Thanks, guys.